second. Hop up. Welcome in. How we doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing well, I can't complain. But yeah, how are you doing? How we doing? How we feeling? Welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? Uh, I wouldn't really say that it has an effect on the energy. It's just more of the cycle of, of light and dark, of not necessarily life and death, but in that sense. The solstice just represents the date of, the switch from one season to another, to one phase to the next. So really, it's more of just getting into the masculine energy, getting into more of the action, putting things into plans, going out, doing things, being more of moved, being in more of a kinetic energy than a potential one. Not for your future, because you can't future predict with tarot, so no, I can't do a reading on that. But happy birthday, happy late birthday. But you can't future predict with tarot. That's impossible to do. Welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? Yeah, I'm doing well. And yeah, I can get you if it's not a future reading. Okay, first card is the Tower reverse. Um, being in a more constructive, a more dictated mindset is going to help you. Instead of running around the molehill and making a bigger issue out of things, or focusing on the smaller details, you begin to focus more on the grand picture. Move in a more logical way rather than in a way that causes complications. And doing that, moving with a logical sense, has that intuitive nature. So being more clocked in with that self, with that side of self. Um, really just being aware of like what you've built around you and how you're moving around it as well. But with the Tower reverse, it's really just telling you to not take the long route when it comes to things. Don't take shortcuts. Don't do really look at things before making a decision. Really sit down and engage if it's something that you need to do or if it's an impulse. um, that's really about it on how to gauge the energy of self. And then the next one is the Chariot. But yeah, just knowing that moving forward is how you're going to have a better beneficial experience, I guess is the word to use. um, but yeah, pay attention to like why you're moving around things. Why are you doing it out of a panic? Are you doing it because it seems to make more sense? Why would the only reason why Jack walked up the hill to get the pellet water is because it waters in the well. Water falls. You shouldn't have to walk to the top of the hill when there's water at the base of it already. Make sure that you're using your resources wisely, and pay attention to not. Don't get so sucked into the details that you forget like where you're at, but pay attention to the details at the time, but and just move with a greater mind, a greater picture in mind. Excuse me. Blessings to you as well. Nice. Gardening's always fun. No, because tarot's not going to tell you about your grades that you already have. That's not how it works. And you guys gotta stop getting readings on like the future and like objects. Get readings on yourself. That's what tarot's used for. Not really. Not really. I've been putting my focus into a lot of other things that like create that feeling, but I haven't been, actually like motivated or excited to do much. Yeah, the second that you said that whole sentence, I was like, yeah, you know what? That's obviously just a joke at that point. can do a 2 card for guidance. What do you need guidance on, though? Don't say general, because I'm not doing any more general readings either. We need to know what you need to know. It's going to help you out more. It's going to make you more decisive, which is what people need. So just, instead of saying just general advice or, what do you need guidance on? What in your life is causing you issues to need guidance with? And if you don't have that reason, then why are you getting the reading? What else is causing that need? Digging down deep in that sense is how, we grow as people. And that's really the best way to use this tool. And it's the way that I wish to convey that tool to be used. So yeah, I could do it for guidance, but on what? Yeah, if you can, my email is always open, it's there to use. If you need to email me, always, but, what's been going on with it, we can talk if you need to have such a work or not, definitely. Welcome in, how we doing, how we feeling? Feeling to have it flowing through, that's what's up. I feel that. not a special outfit, it's just what I'm wearing. But I'm just gonna ignore that completely, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. We're doing different talks about healing and just card pulls. The donation stuff's in the pinned. If you want to donate, it's all there. Life is we only, describe life from what we observe. And what we observe is what we are. The only reason why life would be harsh and rude is because one is harsh and rude to themselves. And that's just the fact of it. And that's why some people say, oh, life is wonderful, and other people are like, oh, it's other ways. You have all these different opinions because different people see things different ways. If you started to see things as better, as less than harsh, and you were as less harsh on yourself, with your thinking patterns, with eating habits and exercise, however it wouldn't have that same effect. It'd be completely different. But it's all going to be attuned to what you need, and basically if you decide to be agreeable or disagreeable with yourself. Yeah, the only reason why we describe things, the only reason why people want to say that one thing is bad and the other thing is not bad is because they've decided to take responsibility for it. They've decided to claim ownership over that action and are trying to control it. And that comes from not having control over your life in the sense of being sovereign, in that sense. But yeah. And you gotta ask when you're in that mode. You have to ask yourself, why am I actually doing this? Are you doing it because you're panicked, Or are you doing it because of a stale energy? Are you doing it because you just feel like you have to? There's a difference between when it comes naturally or when it comes from a thought pattern. Have you sat there for hours and be like, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do this. No, 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 no. All these things aren't working, and then build up to an idea that you then take out? Or is it you just randomly sitting around and be like, you know what, let me do something else instead? That's, that's giving out. It's still giving that patience thing. It's still showing impatience either way, but one way is better to be gauged with because it's not built up by the mind. It's not going to be built up by, rationality or like things that you can't, the things that you only can see. It's going to be built off of, both things that you can see and can't. Well, blood relations don't really mean anything. At the end of the day, you're not really blood of your parents. Your DNA and all these other things of your parents, your genes of your parents, or your offspring. But when it comes down to blood relations, that's not really a thing because you will have different ancestry than your blood relatives. That you have your own specific bloodline that comes from the groups of genomes and stuff from your other parents and all that jazz. But you know the the more you stay attached to labels or attached to what you're being delivered on the physical without seeing the truth of it, the harder it's going to be. The more that you still identify with, like, oh, your parents, they have to XYZ, the more that you're going to meet that failure system. And that failure system is what puts you in a loop. You end up being, okay, well, if this isn't going to work, then I'm going to go end up trying to control something else. Your relationships, friendships, all these other things, habits, substance abuses, all these other things kick in to give the person like a sense of control when there really is none. And the biggest control is detaching yourself from those labels that you didn't really need to accept in the first place, as they added that hindrance on top. You know what I mean? Yeah, learning to leave, fight or flight and entering the relax and respond is what you're needing to do. So really taking time to slow down your thought process. We only feel like we're running out of time because we end up spending, our energy that time in that moment panicking or, being on our head or, other things rather than doing that task at hand that would fill in that time and give that reward that you're desiring. So learning to slow down and slowing down your thought process. Whenever something comes up with anxiety, oh, should I do this? Should I not do that? Question yourself, like, why am I panicking about this? You know, why does this make me panic? What about this is like causing all this panic? And you'll realize that it's not just one thing; it's multiple things. And it's not panic; it's a bunch of, oh, this is a good idea. This is excitement. This is the passion that I have. It's just getting miscommunicated because of a jumbled message being sent. Because again, it's just a game of telephone. You're literally observing both sides. You get the idea, and then you get the actual like thought pattern that follows from that. You're in the middle. You are I. You are the observer. That's just what the ego is. So you have to play that role of seeing both sides, and being the communicator, slowing down actually internally, um, and walking yourself through those thought processes because they're your thoughts and it's your process at the end of the day of how you're going through it. Even if it's not a thought that you coined yourself first, it's a thought that you are still holding on to and repeating. You have to break down why it's still there. You have to see like what its purpose was to do. What is its reminder. But yeah, that's an actual thing. That's what it is. You have your fight, or what is it called? What is it called? Hold on, let me look it up. It's an actual like there's actual like terms for like the responses. Um, yeah. So where is it at? It's probably right in front of me, and I can't. I don't know, but it's to do with a lot of like it's the acute stress system in the body is what it deals with that stress system. So whenever you need, so really just working on regulating as well, like your nervous system, and that's like going outside, breathing, grounding, meditating, being around water, yoga, exercising, doing things like that help calm the nervous system, and that calms everything else down in that same sense. Welcome in, Queen. How we doing? How we feeling? I wish I could shuffle. Oh heck yeah, Hidden. That's awesome. Hopefully everything goes well with it. Yeah, that's cool. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I've been having bizarre dreams. Welcome in, welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? How am I? I am doing well. I'm doing well. I could do that, couldn't I? Forgot all about that. I'm offering a lot. I offer a lot at least. But, you know, you can offer whatever. It only, you know, if someone doesn't accept it, it won't matter. Donation-based readings, donation-based, whatever, really. Just general donations and stuff. But that's why. But yeah, we don't really mess around over here when it comes to like speaking the truth or speaking about things in a different manner. And I'm probably the only unfortunate one of probably 2 or 3, I'd say, like actual tarot readers on the channel. Like I know what tarot is, um, which is pretty interesting. Most readers are fake anyway, so don't even get surprised at them blocking you. They can't handle their own mirror being shown to them half the time, which is why they read about it constantly. And welcome in, Anita. How we doing? How we feeling? And it has been a few days. I've been on a rest. I'm slowly kicking back into gear. I'm not fully back in the gear, but we're slowly working on it. Well, that's good to hear, Anita. That's very good to hear. Thank you for the jewels. I appreciate it. I'm still not too sure what that whole system is or like why YouTube has it, but it's there. You don't? Huh. I don't know, like YouTube's been putting a bunch of random features on my stuff. I don't know like what's going on with it. Like the top fans thing, I'm pretty sure that's like in beta testing. I don't know why I even have access to it. I didn't sign up for it. Which probably explains why my channel has not been out as much, because if it's getting like beta tested, it's being fucked even more by the algorithm. I don't know. How do I get my channel removed from that? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it reminded me of TikTok. I remember the first time I got it, like a sun popped up on my screen. I was like, "What? Am I on TikTok or am I on YouTube?" I like completely forgot where I was for a second. Welcome in, Lucy. How we doing? How we feeling? I need to... Zero idea. Hidden. Zero idea. Anita, yeah, YouTube's been messing with me for like a year though. So I mean, at this point, it's whatever. Like, it does not really. It doesn't like bother me in a sense anymore. I got you, Summer. What do you want in the reading on it? I can get you. And thank you, Layla, as well. Happy late birthday. That's 2 birthdays yesterday that have popped up here. That's awesome. Happy late birthday. It's my friend's birthday today. But I got you. So the first card you have is the Magician, and right now it's just letting you know that you are in the prime. You are in you are embodying the ability to drag whatever you're desiring from heaven, from your mind to earth, on the physical. So take a lot of time at this. Take a lot of, I don't want to say time at this time. Take a lot of time at this point to really focus on what you need. Sacrifice the red over the white on the Magician is showing you the sacrifice, the rational mind, the redness in you, and make it pure. The thoughts that tell you, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that, or that's too much or that's too little, or all those things. Remove that from yourself at this time when you're creating this. The limniscat above the head is representing that there is an achievement that is being made. Whatever you've been thinking about creating, whether it's with love, career, however this is for you, you need to make sure that you're following the order, which with a Magician upright means that you're letting the idea come in first, and then go to your feelings, go to your thoughts, and then become that physical output, which is good. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Just allow yourself to really, remove more of those barriers of, oh, that's too much to have, or I can't do this, or I can't do that at this time, just to, allow more of that purity to shine through. We have the Queen of Pentacles reverse as well. It might be a little bit difficult to keep that mindset. The physical realm around you might not be as nourishing. Things might not be moving as quickly as you've been wanting them to. Just things aren't really seeming like they're starting up at this point. But that's the reason why it's calling you. You're being asked to just keep that mentality, keep that stability, because in that space of nothing, in that space of where things slow down, it seems like nothing exists. That's the best time to implement the new. That's the best time to start creating the new. So right now, really just know that whatever which way you're wanting to go, that you are able to. Just don't get yourself stuck in a 7 of Cups situation. Don't get yourself stuck in a situation where there's a lot of things that you want to do, but you get confused on what you should choose. Go with what you desire at this point in time. Go with what strikes the heart the most. What brings the most, what radiates you the most, I guess I should say, is the best way. But really stay focused on that aspect of self. Yeah, definitely make just write them all out on a list. Have the things like what are you desiring the most to do, and just have that out. And then whatever else happens, stack that on top. And thank you, whoever sent that donation on the Cash App. I truly appreciate that. I don't know who it was. There's no one at the chat with that username, unfortunately. And that's the first time the notifications come through, so I kind of got jump scared by it. Yeah, I usually don't get notifications, so that was awesome. That was just new. Everything's working today, awesome. The only thing that's not working is my brain, apparently. It just keeps shutting off half the time. But thank you. And of course, no worries. It's what I'm here to do. We focus. I say it sometimes. I need to start saying it more. But the only reason why healer is in the name of my channel is because I focus on that aspect. I actually focus on the elevation, the healing of it, seeing what it is. Yeah, I won't get startled to death. I just got jump scared as all. But yeah, we actually focus on the root. We don't focus on the physical aspect. That's not healing anything. That's keeping more distractions on. We dive deep, but we also just, I don't know. We get off topic a lot too. I'm trying to like make my brain work right now by like talking, stimulant something. You know what I mean? I've been like asleep the past. It's been what, 4 days, 4 or 5? I've been asleep basically this past few days, so I'm just not like waking up. Yeah, Subluna was an awesome name, but you know, it had its meaning for that time. It had multiple meanings for that time, honestly, and it's kind of what led me to releasing the name. But yeah, that was a whole chapter. It's my channel. I wanted to change it, and you know, it's just how it be. Change is inevitable, and why stay stagnant when there's a better version? Well, not even a better version, because I don't want to get rational with it, but when there is a more fitting version, why not allow yourself to change into that? Why not morph into it? And that's what I do. I'm not even gonna lie, I've been debating taking Healer out of this channel and putting something else there, but it's like doing that's only gonna put me in the same dilemma of getting upset at that label and then just getting stuck in a loop of, oh, I need to change to something else, so I decided against that completely. And whatever else happens is whatever else happens, I guess, with this channel. But for now, I feel like Healer is adequate. I know some herbal stuff. I don't know. I think it's. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't put much thought in. I don't think about it too much anymore. So I don't really know. I probably don't need to think about it that much either. But yeah, we spiral up. We keep things moving. Try to, at least. I'm going to finish the pinnacle things in the next few days. Well, probably either by the end of today or tomorrow, depending on like what I need to do, or depending on what pops up, really, because things are just popping up left and right. I'm not sure. Wait, hold on. Why did it not send the other message, or did it? And it's just not showing up on my end. I don't know which one you're talking about, but if you're talking about the 303, that's my Venmo. 808 is my PayPal for Stumpy. Oh. Dude, I'm so sorry. I know what you're talking about. My brain's not locked in. Stumpy's one of my old names, one of my old music aliases, and I was just like, why are they talking about Stumpy? Hold on. I was not locked. I'm not locked in. Today is not a lock-in day. I'm like locked outside with the keys indoor right now, basically. Damn. That's a crazy bush. to get all that lemon balm and lavender and all sorts of stuff. That's amazing. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I walked 6 miles, yesterday, it was either yesterday or the day before. I walked 6 miles, three to the place and 3 back, and that was, not, well, it was fun, but it was also exhausting. It was probably not a good day to walk. It was really hot that day, but it was very, 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 very fun. And very much needed walk, honestly. But yeah, I use castor oil. Yeah, that's a smart move. Not gonna lie. Hopefully you do end up getting that replacement though at some point. See, that's the thing, like, it's possible, but you really have to, like, you have to basically change, like, everything, like your diet. You have to, like, so I don't really know how the process works, but you know, we can regrow certain, like, organs and things back. We just have to treat our body in the, you know, in a way to where it can habitat it, or like contain it, I should say, not necessarily habitat it. Yeah. Yeah, it does take a long time. I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. I mean, like, Old Alchemy. I forgot the dude's name. That I was gonna say after that, but I remember now. But yeah, like, Old Alchemy had, like, whole things where you could, like, you know, heal yourself completely using those things, and you know, there's people out there doing it still now. But you can thank Rockefeller for that, and fucking buying the cancer research facility and the health markets and stuff. Fuck that over real quick. Yeah, never underestimate the power of the mind. You can do a lot. And that's, I mean, like, the whole realm is ran off the mental. I talk about that all the time over here. Everything that happens is mental. You know? So if you can't, or not even can, but if you aren't aware of the process of your own brain, let alone, like, well, yeah, never mind, just the process of yours. I was gonna say something else, but it wouldn't work. You know, then you're gonna be a slave to it. It's gonna run the show rather than help guide you. It's just a chauffeur, because all the brain is a chauffeur. It's just, you know, giving the signals of, hey, look for this, look for that, you're good, turn left, turn right. It's just a map holder, you know. Well, the map reader, I should say. The actual like map itself is the heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, electroculture is really good for growing anything, really. Going back to like stone houses and stuff. And thank you for the Cash App donation. I appreciate that as well. Thank you. But yeah, what was I saying? Fuck, our brain went off. I was talking about something. I think I was thinking about talking about something as what was going on, and I got so immersed in that thought that I like stopped talking. It happens a lot. I've been in a like meditative mood. I've been wearing this for like the past week. I can't like I don't want to take it off. It's bad. It's not bad, but you know I found a new comfort in it, and I don't want to remove it. But I need to lock in. But I will say, because I know this for a whole fact, I can send the site that I got this off of. It's an expense. It's not, well, I'm gonna say it's expensive, and the reason why it's expensive is because it's handmade. All of it's like completely handmade, but it's one of the best. Like I love everything about these people. Can we? Can I just copy this? Do I have to go to the whole site? Can I just do this? Okay, you were scaring me for a minute. But that's the site. I don't know if you'll be able to click on that or not, but they have a bunch of things. They have like tops, yoga pants, kimonos, which is what this is. They have a bunch of stuff. It's really nice. And it's like fucking, it's comfortable. Oh my god. I'm not sponsored, but if they sponsored me, I would probably take it up because like I enjoy like the quality is like good actually. And yeah, the water definitely does that. Water has that water literally just encapsulates memory, like you know what I mean, like straight up. It memorizes, like it has photogenic memory. It has God, I can't think. Like I just get on a thought form and I go, oh, dude, my brain feels like a train station right now. Like it's bizarre. And there's like a million thoughts coming in and out, and there's like the train's like about to fall off the rail. But what could be? But I was gonna say before I got like completely thrown off guard of everything, is for the next few streams which I'm gonna be doing, they're gonna not only just be about like tarot cards, but more talking about healing and talking about the of the mind and the mechanisms of it and asking questions about that stuff. Because yeah, that's where we're going towards. I don't know. I feel like weird. I feel like I'm getting energized is what's going on because I'm clicking back on and I feel like crazy. But regardless, I'm gonna be doing a lot more talking about that. Working on the book about like conditioned and unconditioned stimuli still. And doing another video on something else soon. I'm having all these plans. I'm just bizarre right now. But you're fine. You're perfectly fine, Layla. It no matter if you donate energetically or donate financially, doesn't matter. It's the consideration. It's the fact that you have that prayer or have that word or however that's all that matters. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're alive, breathing, and sharing love within the chat is really all that matters. At the end of the day, don't let my don't let my issues be a stressor for you. You know what I mean? Like that. Don't allow that to interfere with you in that sense. Know that I'm always going to be taken care of. That the Most High, that Anu, the Elyon, and them, and they have my back. They're watching over me, and that worst comes to worst. I just follow intuition. Well, not really that worst comes to worst for that, but you know what I mean. When push comes to shove, I have forces that will help in that sense. Yeah, it's less of like obsessive thoughts. It's just I've been in such of a zoned in on a very specific like issue to like not necessarily to get rid of it, but just to see like where is it coming from and how do I slowly dismantle it without my like rational mind catching on too quick and pulling like a juke on me. Because that's what your mind will do. If you catch on to yourself that you're healing from something, you'll crank it up a notch because it's like, oh, I'm doing better. Let me mess around real quick. And it's about not necessarily tricking yourself, but allowing yourself to really know that you can be easy on yourself without needing to like excel. That just comes from me being a workaholic and a perfectionist to a degree. So I was just working through that. And now that I'm not scoped in on that one thought, I'm like, oh, I have all these other things. I came back to reality. It's like, oh, I have this to do, I have that to do, and it's like, yeah, I forgot that I was like a living thing for a minute. I was like in my mind for so long that now I'm like here. But yeah. Self-sabotaging is a huge thing. That's why I speak about it so much. It's we as someone who will coin the term healer from time to time, I take it to the sense of like knowing that I have to be transparent about it. I have to actually work through it in order to heal it. It's like you wouldn't have a cure for snake venom if you never got bit by a venomous snake. You know what I mean? You have to go through that. So I have to, be transparent in that time. Know how it feels not only to express myself to people who care, but people who might not care. People that may be paying attention or not, whatever, getting that pressure off of me and not to put it on someone else, but to relieve that barrier of, not being able to speak about it or not knowing how to work through it and stuff, I take it, I do the work. It's really bizarre. It's very bizarre. I do the work. I come back with keys. The keys might not work at first, but it's probably because you have the key upside down. But we don't hide much. We tell what we need to tell over here. But I also yap a lot, so. Exactly. That's what I had to do. Like I really had to cocoon with spirit for a minute because I was like, it was a obvious cycle. It was an obvious like thought process that I was trying to get through, and I was like, I'm spending more time letting this thought form come up and fighting it when it's at its max potency than actually looking at it when it's forming. So I basically went autopilot for like 4 days, and just let my body do what it, not my body, but let my mind just go, oh, I want to do this, let me just do that, while observing like what patterns am I doing, what am I doing that's causing this sort of fallback, what am I doing that's causing this sort of things, what thoughts are allowing me to do so, what boundaries have I pushed aside, or tore down myself to allow certain things to happen. And then I've been calculating myself, read myself like a book. exactly, hidden. That's the thing with me. I don't hold grudges. I do my best not to hold grudges. I'll be real. There's like two or three individuals that will come back time to time, and it'll be like a grudge will pop up, and it's like it's not really a grudge. I'm just still like pissed off, low key, very very small about. You know how it be. When you're fully over something, you'll know. But until then, there's like fucking tiny dust specks all over the place. But I always like remind myself it's not even worth getting mad at. It's not even worth really reminiscing. The fact that someone did that action, they have to live with it. The fact that I responded like in the best ways possible at the times, even better than how I thought I would too. I give myself that grace through them by just reminding myself like it's perfectly fine. Just I didn't do anything to escalate. I didn't do anything to XYZ. Even though it might have done its own thing on its own by other people's standards, you just gotta remember you did what you could. When especially when you're faced with things going through like trauma and whatnot, when someone comes up to you almost reenacting it or reminding you about it, you really have to like give yourself that grace of knowing like even if they are doing it on purpose, they don't know how it makes me feel. They know how it makes me react, but they don't know how it makes me feel. And if they're only wanting that reaction, their mind's not on how you feel. It's about that physical nature, that needing to see something happen on the physical, that stimulant that they need. So always remembering that as well. You can look at someone and you can like gauge how they think or gauge how they are, but you'll never really know who they are until that moment actually passes, because then it's still just your own observation, your own thinkings through your own traumas, your own events, your own observations, and then comparing that onto them. So you really have to like humble yourself when it comes down to healing from trauma, because it all comes from you. But the reason why you focus so heavily on certain questions or on certain topics is because you're still attached, to that aspect of yourself. You're actually like applying that past self onto who you are now, forgetting that you've already made it through other things, and forcing an illusion over all characters to react the same or to be in that sort of way. You end up making your own like play in a sense. But that's like the thing, like that's the power of the mind, is even you'll trick yourself up by doing stuff. But yeah, like I don't know. That's the type of shit I've been on like heavy for the past few days. But normally I'm like that. I normally get that deep within stuff. But I've just been really, really, really clocked in on like, because it keeps popping up. It's the one story where I was locked in the basement with the two high school friends. Like that scenario, that like group energy, not necessarily defining good or bad, just a group of individuals who get along with each other, or acquaintances, or however, that has been popping up a lot. And it's been like, oh, that group of people could do this, that group of people could do that. And I was noticing as well, as like I was comparing what other people could do. My voice was cracked. Oh my god. Anyway, I was focused on what other people could do, rather than what was keeping me from doing it. And it has a lot to do with just wanting to have like a group to do things with, and that comes from childhood stuff, being only child, adopted, yada yada yada, XYZ, right? Working through all that as well. But I was really just like, what's really stopping me from doing it on my own? And there's a lot. I'm not gonna fully unpack it, because it's still kind of messy up in there. So, but all in all, it's a lot to do with just like a lack of belief and a bit of tolerance as well. A lack of having tolerance for, I guess socializing, because there's just a lot of times where I don't want to socialize. I don't want to talk to people. I'd rather just sit alone and do nothing. And I have this like I'm an introvert and extrovert, whatever that's called, the ambivert or something. I'm literally in between. I like talking and being social, but I want to be alone. Like, leave me alone when I want to be alone. But other than that, I'm outside, talking XYZ. So that's my struggle. That's my Exactly. See, because that's the thing. A lot of people, 'cause it's the same thing as with us. We, I'm gonna say we, as I'm talking about the people who have like worked on themselves and ended up being on the end of like losing people and stuff of that nature. That's what I mean by we. People that have gone through that, we get the actual release. We understand the release that you get when you remove those people, but we also get that fear of wanting to let go of like what was your old stability or what keeps you stable at that point in time, right? Not really seeing that there could be more, and that holds it back. Oh, what are people going to think about me if I end up siding with this or that? It's that fear of being accepted, versus having someone that's accepting you completely. And it's that endless chase of like not seeing what you have in front of you, that a lot of people struggle with, and it comes from just being overstimulated. We're way too overstimulated. There's way too many things going on. Not only like economically, but internally, energetically. Fucking everything. Not only that, but like just existing in outside, sitting outside, and just witnessing things happen. There's a lot going on. The clouds are doing their thing. They're moving. The planes, cars, animals, birds, whatever. Right? Everything's still moving. We're always going to be overstimulated. Our five senses are always going to be active. We're always going to be sensing something, seeing something, until we hit that meditative sense, that meditative mode, and that's why we go there. But a lot of people just run off of being overstimulated so much. They don't remove themselves from it. So they continuously stay in those cycles. They continuously stay within like painful situations or unfortunate circumstances, and it's not because like they don't. Well, it is because they don't want to, but it's not because they're fully choosing not to. There's a part of them that's literally convincing them, the rational mind, that's saying, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that." Same thing for you. Same thing like, "Oh, I want to go eat." "Oh, don't do that. You don't need to eat right now." That same thing. It happens there. It's just a different scaling of it. We attach it to different things. Oh, there's a difference between eating food and a friendship. Not really. They're both for nourishment. They're both going to be giving you something, and you're going to get something out of it. It's the same thing. It's an energy exchange, but we are so focused on like outward connection, which isn't bad, but we're humans. We want to connect. We want that connectivity. That's why laughing and smiling and stuff is so contagious. Or when someone's sad, other people get sad. We want to have that connectivity. That's what we crave. But if we were to actually connect internally first, there wouldn't be that disassociation from the external. There wouldn't be that fear of standing on own. But we've grown to be more recluse. We've grown to be more ashamed or like fearful because we've been told no so much. Whenever it wasn't us being told no as oh it's bad to do, it was just us being told no. I don't want you to do it because I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Or I don't want you to do it because I think someone else is going to look at you like that. And though that happens, what if we stop saying that? What if we just stop allowing that thought process to happen? Because as man or the mind desires, nature will supply. So maybe if people didn't say, oh, but you're going to run into someone who's mean, you wouldn't run into anyone who's mean. You know what I mean? The fact that someone, they kind of code it into you. They put it in the back of your mind. It's not something on your forefront. Your subconscious that grabs it. Oh, what's this? I'm going to use it. And it might happen. It might come off as like a ugly look, like oh they're just being mean to me because it has something to attach to now. They could have just been mid sneeze and looked at you. They could, you know what I mean? They could have smelt something bad and then like turned their head. You know what I mean? You don't really know what's happening on the other spectrum. We're so focused in on these tiny things, and like I noticed that shit heavily. I'm I'm really big on observing things. I'm very big on like getting down and dirty with like what's going on in the terms of that. So like paying attention to that, paying attention to those aspects, and like really seeing what's going on, because it's like it's not you. It's really not you. It's a lot more than you. The only thing that's you is how you respond to it. That feeling isn't you. That feeling is is a call. It's, hey, what are we doing? That's not you. Your action, your response, your you know your response, yeah, to that feeling is not necessarily you, but it's more of you. It's what you're allowing to be embodied in you. It's what you're holding. Um, it depends on how far, you know. The more you move with it, the more of who you are. You're both spectrums. You're both aspects of them. The only mistranslation is like the feeling to the action. You know. Later on, you might be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have reacted that way, or I shouldn't have, said those things." Well, it's because that wasn't you. That was a different thing. The whatever you experienced, whatever idea was fed to you, um, ended up having your system malfunction. Basically, that's what it is. You just didn't know how to control it. You didn't know what to do, or you just ignored the body signals that tell you to move or tell you to leave, due to like your own ignorance, or because you wanted to make an excuse for it, XYZ, however, right? But when we tap into it on that level and really see like what we're doing versus like what's happening, it changes the whole spectrum of things. It changes like how you actually respond, because it's no longer like, oh, I need to act this way. You're no longer like being given your lines. You're now reading from your actual script. Oh, I'm a chill person, but I'm always constantly covered and riddled with anxiety. That's an oxymoron. That's an oxymoron. You can't have that. You can, but it's not going to be balanced. It's not going to be stable. It's not going to be able to like live in conjunction. Not conjunction. Other word. Can't remember right now. It's not going to be able to be in a symbiotic relationship. There we go. Um, but yet so many people claim to be that. They're not actually chill. They're chill internal. Their soul wants them to be a chill person, but they're so busy fighting their mind that they're riddled with that anxiety, you know. Exactly. That's the thing. Like, don't you shouldn't be afraid to express yourself. That's like the whole issue, is people are afraid to express themselves. People like, I don't know. And I mean, I get it. I get why, obviously. There's a lot of reasons why, and there's a lot of reasons that I don't even know why the reason would be as well, you know? But we have to learn to be expressive. Like, that's what's gonna save us and keep us like alive and stable, is if we actually start to be in that mode, in that zone. I feel like, because it's a fear of judgment, but it's less of being judged by others and judging themselves, because you'll look at people like, oh, I can't do that to them. They're gonna do XYZ. How do you know that? You don't know them. You know what I mean? You and your circumstances have now corrupted someone else's life and their circumstances that don't even relate to you in that sense, and now their reaction is going to be manipulated by your already preordained mindset. Like, if I mean, I would just do, if I took a drink of this water, right, and I was like, I hate this water, I'm not going to drink anymore, but I kept drinking and getting myself mad at it, right, and then I end up calling the company and being like, your water fucking sucks. That's a really silly and like outlandish example. But the only reason why I got to that extent is because I've allowed myself to continuously, do that same thing over and over again. I've fed into that impulse. I've fed into that response that creates that feeling, and I had to get control, quote unquote, back, because you lost control. You regain it by taking things into action on the physical, or however, it's a lack of control. It's an immatured system. They haven't like developed and or experienced the true self, and are still living out of that aspect of self that isn't, damn, what was I gonna say? I guess I was gonna say divined. I'll say that, or the aspect of self that hasn't like um no, that has left. Excuse me. It would be the aspect that has divined rather than the aspect that hasn't, uh, forgot the chord. I forgot what I was going to say at the end. I zoned back in for a minute. I'm gonna head off for a second. I'm gonna go for a walk and lock in. I gotta go wake up. I'm gonna be live later though. I have nothing to do, really today. So I'll be going live later today. But I'm probably gonna go off. I'm gonna wake up, take a walk, take a shower, do something, because I need to wake up. It's not that I'm falling asleep, but I'm drifting back into my mind. Like I'm not. There's part of me that doesn't want to like leave, and like, I don't. Hold on. What is the temp here? That's a good question. It's 87. That's not bad. Humidity of 48.9. Oh wow, this is a perfect day to be outside actually. 49 humidity. Dude, our humidity is usually up like in the 70s and 80s. It's low. It's gonna be cold outside. The sun is out beaming, but it's gonna be cold. I got you, Summer. Let me go to your channel real quick. Okay, that actually is so cool. That makes it so quick. But yeah, I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna post. And of course, I'm not gonna. I ain't got no issue. I ain't got no issue with no one. I ain't got no reason to block you. I ain't got no reason to block no one. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre because literally, like, I know exactly what you're talking about with people who do that shit. I don't get why they do it. I don't know. Like, like, there are very few, but they're the exact opposite is what you'll meet over here. Like, no one actually gets mad at anyone over here. Well, except for that one time something happened. And I still don't know if it was a joke or not, but something happened. I'm not too sure. I'm not involved in it. I don't really care. But no, we joke around. We don't really care. Like, we don't get bothered by much. We're aware of what's going on more than like the typical spiritual community or like the typical like, oh, I'm awake type people. So we get it. But yeah, and goodness gracious, healing truths. I'm about to get off. I'm so sorry. I'll be back on later though. Here's my email, all the links that you would need for things. Regardless though, thank you all so much for being here, for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, whether energetic or financial. If you need to talk to me about anything, questions or anything at all, be sure to email me. Even if it's just to ask like what you would need or like, how to do this or how to do that, or do you know anything about these things, email me. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I'll respond to it. Sometimes I forget to respond to emails after responding once. So if I don't respond, send like, because you can react to emails now on Gmail at least, just react to it or like send me a follow-up message being like, hello, did you forget, to remind me, because sometimes I'll get lost in studying and shit. But yeah, all the links are there. The website's there for services if you're interested in those. Regardless, I love each and every one of you all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever, and I will see you all later.